Let's do it. Welcome, warrior. This is an exciting day. So many things are happening, but let's first do a roll call. Let's trickle in. Give us a 5 by 5. I want to make sure before I start talking that you can hear me and that everything's working properly because you know, if you've been here before, that once I start talking, sometimes I lose all sense of everything going on around me and I just keep talking. So please check in with me. I want to say, give me the old 5 by 5. And also check in. I also like to know where you're from. I mean, just the state. I just like to do that as kind of a focus group to see who's listening. But I welcome everybody. New York City right now, we've been having tremendous lightning and thunder. And all of a sudden now I can see through the windows the sun is beginning to shine so brightly. But really, about 2 minutes ago, the darkest of the dark, thunder, lightning. How how interesting. That's all I'll say with that. Let's see. Who can oh, let me see what this is doing. Okay, I see. We have kind of a new setup on here that the comments are now, maybe this is set up a different way. I see. I'm going to have to lean in for this one. Edie says, please hit the like button on your way. Okay. Yes, in. And also to all of you wonderful members who have subscribed to memberships, I just put up a little video for members only because I want to make sure that you know you are with me every step of the way and that I thank you tremendously for your subscriptions, for your donations, for everything you write to me. And remember, everybody, you must subscribe to our channel because about 65% of you who watch this are not subscribed. So we need everybody to subscribe. So we get into the algorithms and we get into the movement and we get into the information highway is what I like to call it. So let me see. I think I have to kind of bend in. I see that uh, I'm going to just try something. So let's see what this is because I can't really see the comments even with, let's see, here we go. Here we go. Okay, now I did it. We got Edie. We've got Fred, 5 by 5. Good enough for me. Welcome, Fred. Edie's here from Pennsylvania. Fred from Missouri. Lionel Nation, loud and clear. Brought to you live from Ybor City. And that's in Florida, everybody. Let's get to it. 5 by 5, but I probably have 5 by 25 things. Please weigh in with any comments. A lot is happening. The first thing I want to say to you is we are entering into the summer months. June 21st is officially kickoff to the summer. If you have any children or grandchildren, come on now, safety summer tips. Kids have more time on their hands, which means they have more time to go scrolling. They have more time to interact with perhaps predators online. Keep an eye on all of that, but also make it a point. It's a good time where there's a little bit of downtime from school that you can suggest, as we always do in the Warriors, books, actual books, reading cover to cover, discussion about the books, also just taking walks, also just getting those devices down. I always tell you, I know, like a broken record, you start with 15 minutes a day and you just work your way up. But it's a great time to just get away from the actual routine. I know a lot of you parents and grandparents have to work, but we are at a critical and crucial stage right here in the United States with our children and our families. We have to put in the work. I am here. I tell you nothing but truth and facts. It's up to us. Community creates change, right? Our hashtag. So I want all of you, you have to, I don't care how tired you are, and I understand, must devote some period of time every day to kids, to grandkids, or if you don't have any, to being aware of these issues. Perhaps you are busy and working and overwhelmed. That's okay. Share our information. Go on our Warriors X, go on our Warriors Facebook. Look at what's happening there. And just it's good enough if you just share that on your platforms because our mission at the Warriors is, as a nonprofit, that we raise awareness, that we educate, that we use the media to get the word out. Media, this is media, what we are doing now, right? And also to affect change through policy, coalition building. And I want to bring, Hillbilly says, Lionel Nation, stay off Nebraska. Not sure what that means, Hillbilly, but okay. Monday, June 23rd, a very urgent and important day in Washington, and the Warriors will be traveling to DC and will be there. Understand any of your donations, these are the types of things that we go to Washington. We have expenses. we provide to survivors also to help them along, and also to our educational programs that we are really building out educational materials. But June 23rd is Social Media Victims Remembrance Day, and our great partners from the HEAT Initiative, shout out to Lennon and shout out to Sarah Gardner and Lennon Torres, unbelievably passionate, unbelievably committed. I am proud to stand alongside them. We are going to be on Capitol Hill. We are going to be receiving many parents and family members whose children have been harmed from social media. Now, take that as you may, because it's going to lead into my next headline I'm going to get into with you. You know, we have a well-documented youth mental health crisis in the United States. Here and there, we've had the former Surgeon General talk about it. We'll get some headlines. We'll get some news, maybe 24, 48 hours. But what is really being done to deal with all of this? Why is it we have some kids that can use social media and they don't harm themselves? And then we have other kids, they fall down the rabbit hole. I don't even like that expression. They become addicted. Like anything else, like liquor, like drugs. And we have studies, the internet can be an addiction, and it is an addiction. There are even certain camps and businesses set up right now to deal with children and teens addicted, and adults, because we have a lot of adults that, we focus primarily at the Warriors on kids, but we have a lot of adults addicted to gaming, a lot of young men. So gaming. But what this day is, we are going to come together. Parents will be flying in and family members from all over the country. And we will stand on Capitol Hill, collectively coming together. We will be joined by other advocates, other groups, and lawmakers, members of Congress. They are all invited. They know we are coming. This is Monday. We will urge them to look these parents in the faces and urge them to move faster when they vote for legislation, because right now, things take 3 years. If something happens, about 3 years to get something passed. All of this work is bipartisan. I truly thought when I started, I never even thought twice about it, that all of this would be easy, right? Everybody can come together for kids and families and safety. It is like a pulling the teeth, I have to share with you. But anything worth it is hard. But this is a critical and crucial national crisis that this information get out. So we're having the Social Media Victims Remembrance Day. There is nothing other than I am there for parents and family members. There is nothing you can say to them. They are there to represent the parents who can't be there because they can't deal with it. Lives are ruined. Remember, all of this harm, it's the worst thing that can happen to a family. It's not just that child or teen. It is the entire family for the rest of their lives affected. So there is a great contingent of parents, and growing across the United States, who are speaking up and out. They don't want this to happen to any other parent or family member. They don't want them to endure this pain. They want Congress to act. And frankly, I am getting sick and tired of them just taking their sweet old time. I am tired of marching those hallways and going in those offices. And yes, we agree with you. Yes, we're going to do something. Yes, yes, yes. Enough. System's not working. Time for change. Marching on Capitol Hill. And I'll report back to you about that. But right now we have sitting there, the Kids Online Safety Act, recently reintroduced. It was around for, about 2.5 years. We thought it would be passed in the last Congress, last minute. That would be the 118th Congress. Now we're in the 119th. I'm heading into the fall, because Congress traditionally takes the whole month of August off. I really hope, with everything going on, let me digress for a second. I really wish everybody would stay and work, right? And fight for our kids and fight for our families. I don't think they deserve a whole month off, but call me wacky. That's just me. We have a lot of things going on in the world, as you know, and in our country. And it's time to adhere, 24/7, 365, and get the work done. So we will be pushing them on Monday, on our Social Media Victims Remembrance Day on Capitol Hill, that they take action now to give us the Kids Online Safety Act, to stop I guess, jerking us around. I don't even like to say that, but that's what I'm going to use. I don't like to sound unladylike. But that's about what's going on. And they passed this because we are heading towards July. And then there's that August break. I guess they're taking it. I'll find out Monday. I hope they don't, because we'll be rallying against that, because I'm not taking a break. A lot of you aren't taking a break. I'm all for taking a couple of hours here and there to re-energize and rejuvenate, but not when our precious children's lives are at stake. So I'll give you a full report about that, but we'll be there all day. And Tuesday is a march on a very peaceful, because we are peaceful warriors, and the Heat Initiative is a peaceful organization. And we'll be marching on the Apple Store in Washington to let Tim Cook know that there is something called the App Store Accountability Act as well. And let me refresh your memories with that. Before I do, let me make sure I don't miss anybody as I'm talking. Let's see. Candy's here. Thank you, Candy. Yep, New Zealand. Thank you for joining us from that far away. They're all over the place, right? They're all over the place. And they're all over the place because they're allowed to be all over the place. They're all over the place because there is no accountability. They're all over the place because so many are complicit. And it's so large and overwhelming, nobody wants to deal with it. That is why we deal with it right now. We're together. We're talking about the issues, what's coming up, what you can be involved in. This is the way we have to look at it. Because if we look at that big model of everything, we will close our eyes and shut the front door. And we're not going to do that. We're going to chip away at this. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get out in front of it. We're going to talk to our kids, right? We have to talk to our kids, because after all, the predators are talking to them with the internet. So we have to be the leaders and talk. I want to, that reminds me, Candy reminded me of something. I want you to go back on the channel and look at my recent interview with, I just did a wonderful John. Oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. Go back and look at my last interview. He is the former director of Internet Crimes Against Children, John Pizzuro. He started something called Raven, dealing with law enforcement. Who better to advise than law enforcement, who for years, and this is his goal with Raven, bringing that law enforcement who for years would witness, encounter, and not know what to do with all of these child issues, because there was nothing set up. There was no protocol. Now we have all this information. John is bringing it forward with raven.us is the website for that. I want you to hear what he has to say. You have to do your homework, go back and look at the interview. And moving forward, John and Raven are helping write policy with the government, and also bringing that law enforcement piece to the forefront. So now we do have the take actions. We do know how to find these creeps, these perps, these pervs, these predators, but what to do with them and hold them accountable. So I want everybody to look at that interview. Dee Dee's here. Welcome. Rhonda, better late than never. Rhonda, always welcome. And oh, Linda's here. I haven't seen you in a while, Linda. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Dee Dee. God bless all of you for caring enough to tune in and listen to this, because as you know, and I know, a lot of this information is not popular. Thanks, Edie. You are one of our biggest warriors. And I'd like to say to you, rock on. Thank you for all you do. So let's get back to, so we have Monday. And Monday, June 23rd, is about the Social Media Victims Remembrance Day, Capitol Hill. It ties into a brand new study that I'm very happy just came out. I'm going to be linking it in the body of this video. It's already there if you go to our Warriors X or you go to our Warriors Facebook. And it is, I won't get all like in the weeds, as they say, about it, but here's the bottom line about this new study. One of the problems we have with trafficking, exploitation, internet is that I'll always be asking for updated studies. So we had that horrible COVID period. I can barely say it. Really, I get chest pain, so forgive me, where everything stopped, right? So all of this work, in essence, we at the Warriors never stopped. We did more work than ever during that period. But as far as on the national, federal, government level, a lot of that stopped. And that's where a lot of the studies do come out of those organizations. So I would be given a study that would be, for instance, stats on human trafficking. And the stats would be, from 2019. Now it's 2025 and a half. I can't use anything pre-COVID. I can't use old studies. Where are all the new studies? That's what I want to point out. There is. Let me go back to John Pizzuro I was just telling you about from Raven. What got me going with John, and I've interviewed him before, excellent work. We really have to thank him for his service to our country, is he's had an incredible career in helping children in fighting this exploitation. We have to talk about those warriors who have done and are doing a good job. We have to applaud them. We have to empower them, and we have to give them that strength, because so many times good law enforcement is so overlooked, and they just want to be thanked or acknowledged. So let's do it with John Pizzuro. Go back and look at the interview, put a comment, put a like, please. But he put out a map of the United States with all these red dots, and every red dot represented a URL of someone dealing with CSAM, child sexual abuse material. Now, can anybody guess what that map looked like if you're following along right now? I know we lag here, but take a stab at a little red dot. This is just the United States. One dot represented a URL that represented CSAM, child sexual abuse material. Anybody take a stab at it? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for somebody to tell me. Yep, Dee Dee, you're correct. There were no dots. It was just a complete red map of the United States. Disgusting. Disgusting. I could have predicted it, but as you know, people are visual. And when I saw this map John put out, unacceptable. How many times over is it solid red? We don't even know. That's how much of this exploitation, these crimes against children are happening. You think everybody took to the streets recently, marching. They said 5 million. I don't know the number. I don't care if it's 50 people. Why don't people in the United States take to the streets for children? I can't figure it out. I ask this question every day. But let's get back to that study, because I did digress there. A brand new study dated June 18th. Music to my ears. The study basically says, again, I'll link it in the body of the video, that it's not the amount of time a child or teen spends online, or anybody for that matter, but this study is actually for children and teens. It is about addiction. Now, I've been saying that. I don't like to say like, oh, I've been saying that, but I have been asking this question for the last few years. It's about mental health, because not all children that spend, I'm not promoting it, I'm not liking it or suggesting it, say a kid spends 5 hours a day online. Well, they tell us the average is 8, 9, 10 hours a day for kids 9 to 17. But let's just say a child spends 5 hours online. They don't harm themselves. And we have algorithms. I'm skipping around. The ultimate harm, I think you know what I mean by that, and other harms. And then some kids do harm themselves. So I would ask, why is that? Doesn't that feed into mental health? Why, when the latest TikTok challenge I saw was find the heaviest object in your home and drop it on your feet. And a teen girl did that and had to get her toes amputated. Now think about that. How many kids are dropping heavy objects like microwaves on their feet? I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor, but you have to have something wrong mentally if you're going to abuse your body and do something like that just to create a video to put on TikTok to get a bunch of likes. And that reminds me why President Trump once again delayed this whole TikTok thing for another 90 days. Not sure what's going on there, but that's just another 90 days of children harming themselves. And what I mean by that is we don't want to shut TikTok down. I've never been for a ban on TikTok, and I'll tell you why. Don't pick on TikTok. You let it ride for the last several years, right, with China. And everybody let ride for the last several years all of these other platforms. You're going to shut down TikTok. You're going to have to shut down, X and Snap and all the gaming and stuff like that. So don't just pick on TikTok. Pick on everybody. But that's not happening. So another 90 days. And the last time I heard, there was somebody in America ready to buy the platform and clean it up, blah, blah, blah. And now that's not happening. So now we have another 90 days of kids dropping microwaves on their feet. Very, very disturbing. I mean, as a matter of fact, I'll be spending time next week with a mom here in New York. Great son, 15 years old, great student, never did anything crazy. And you know what? Because he's a kid and he got egged on 2 years back. He took the TikTok challenge to Subway Surf. Does everybody know what that is? It's been around forever, but if it's on TikTok, a 15-year-old has never seen that or heard about it before. They see video of it. They see somebody gets a million hits. Anyway, he took the TikTok challenge and rode for the first time. He subway surfed, meaning you ride on top of a subway outside. And not all of our subways here in New York are underground. A lot of them going out to the boroughs, for instance, Brooklyn or Queens. They eventually, after they leave the tunnels in Manhattan, will go out on a bridge. You're actually outside, right? And guess what? He met his ultimate harm, horrible, and had never been in trouble, was the pride of his mother's, life. What do you say to a parent like this? We are not holding big tech accountable for anything. No accountability. So of course they're just going to keep going on and on, making money. That million clicks, makes money. Advertising. They're using our precious kids to make money. That's the bottom line. So yeah, we have the Take It Down Act that was just announced. I was there in the Rose Garden and very proud to be in the presence of our POTUS and FLOTUS when they signed that into legislation. Actually, the first piece of legislation a first lady ever signed, as well as the president. So that was history in the making. And that will give guardrails, right? But we have to enforce it. And that will hold any of these platforms responsible if they do not take down any of these deep fake, these images within 48 hours, right? But how is that? And I'm not going to bore you with all that. I'll put the link in the video, what that is exactly. They'll be fined. But when you're worth billions of dollars, do you think $53,000 is going to bother you? See, I'm of the mind something is better than nothing, but I don't want to think like that. Why are these platforms allowed? Anything with a minor is illegal. Now, we're not invading privacy. We don't want anything like that. We're not talking about that. But, allowing videos, challenges of, choking and of harmful things and dropping heavy objects and subway surfing. Why are those allowed? Because we know, and I know, when it comes to politics or it comes to certain subjects, there's a lot of sensitivity, and we're not allowed to post those things. I'll just leave it at that. So what do we say to these parents? We at the Warriors, we give them hope. We give them support, as a matter of fact, and thank you for your donations. When it was this young man's birthday, his past birthday, we provided, his classmates all came to the mom's house, and we provided, for the birthday party, pizzas and cupcakes and balloons and all that stuff. So just know where those donations really go. They go to grassroots, community, on the ground. Okay, that's what we do. We don't put pictures of that online. Those are private things that we're very proud of. And thank you for all that help us with that. So we have that going on. But there's nothing you can say to these parents. So on Monday, for Social Media Victims Remembrance Day, we will be there. I will be using my loud voice to say, come on, everybody. I'm talking about members of Congress now. Like, what's everybody doing, with all due respect? Because for the parents and family members, all you can do is be there, put a hand on the shoulder. There's nothing I can tell them. For the millionth time, I can't say I'm so sorry. It is tragedy that we are allowing in the United States. It's got to change. It's got to change. So we'll be there rallying for the Kids Online Safety Act. Will be the second piece of legislation. Take It Down Act has a companion piece. We're also fighting for Defiance Act. So we've got these things lined up. That being said, our main focus right now at the Warriors is with AI, artificial intelligence, because that will supersede, it will override all of this good work. That is the focus from big tech right now. That is the focus. So unless we really sunset this Section 230, again, I won't bore you, but it calls them a billboard. It was created in 1996. Let's kick it to the curb. It doesn't apply anymore. There were two platforms in 1996. Remember, it was like MySpace, and it was like one other something, right? But now we have, Apple App Store, just to give you an idea. And I'm throwing different things at you. I'm saying that because Tuesday is the march in Washington, peaceful march on the Apple App Store, to let Tim Cook know this is unacceptable, that you have an app store with 800,000 developers plus. Most of your apps rated for children are incorrect. For instance, something might say 4 plus, 8 plus, 12 plus, and a parent's busy. And little Susie wants, the game, and she's 9 and it says 8 plus, and the parents are going to depend on that. They are going to just automatically right? Who could blame them? They're counting on that big tech company, Apple, right? Did you know 91% of kids have iPhones? 91. I mean, that is the chosen model. So that means 91% goes to that app store. And the ratings are wrong. And when I say ratings are wrong, again, we're a family program. They've been tested, and a lot of them have sexual content and dialogue that 4-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and 12-year-olds certainly. So they're putting it over not only on the kids and us, right? Because we're buying the apps, they're putting it over on the advertisers as well. So it's twofold. They want to get in there, fool all of us, and cheat the advertisers. And the App Store Accountability Act will curb this. So we're working on that. So there's so much hope. There's so much good legislation. But again, AI, we've got to get some guardrails around that. I will have some exciting information to share with you towards the very end of the month. Well, actually, no, the end of next month, July. So I'll just put that little teaser out there. So this new study, though, really points out that there is an internet addiction, which we've known, but this solidifies it. And it is not the amount of time spent, although kids cannot be spending 8 hours a day. But then again, that's where they get their news. That's where they get their entertainment. That's where they listen to their music and watch the shows on their phones or their laptops. They're gaming. You must get in there, somehow decrease that a little bit. Again, I go back to my 15 minutes a day. We can all do that, including us. Put the devices down. Get in there and talk to them about age appropriate, gaming. We also have a problem, do you know and very conversational. I mean, it's not accusatory. It's not yelling and screaming. And I heard this study, and there's some woman in a pink shirt online. She says take a breath, right? It's all around us, right? Age appropriate. You could show this video to children, teens, there's nothing wrong. They're seeing everything and hearing everything anyway. A lot of these parents that we'll be seeing on Monday at our Social Media Victims Remembrance Day, they did everything right in their homes, from talking about devices to keeping an eye to perhaps partnering the phones up with Gab or Bark, right? You know about those. They kind of monitor and control and help you if pornographic images come along. Bark can help you. You get an alert. It's a great thing, right? They did everything right. Yet a lot of these kids still ended up with that ultimate harm. And so that is why we need to talk about these issues. That is why I will go to my grave talking about these issues, trying to make you aware of these issues, of what is going on. But the study, again, let's get back to, there is a true internet addiction. So be aware that that's going on, and then seek help, because there are doctors now specifically dealing with teens, with minors that are going through this. And I've dealt, and I'm thinking of one story in particular where the child just became a monster, right? And sweet boy, who then became addicted and became vicious and violent. And if you took that device away, went berserk and very physical and a lot of strength and a lot of out of control. And he ended up, ultimately, he's not with us anymore, dealing with all of this stuff. So these are heavy issues that we have to talk about. By not talking about them, they don't go away. I'm tired of saying that. We must confront what's going on. But the study is terrific because the study is actually almost 4 years. They started when kids were 9 or 10, right? And they went all the way through so they could have a very thorough study for 13, 14. So they could have a good meaty to see how this progressed. And so I'm anxious, very happy, I should say anxious. I'm looking forward. I want to put that in the body of the video so you can look at that and understand these issues exist, but we've got to get after them. Let me make sure. Kristen says, very concerned. Yes, the AI. I will be with you in spirit and prayers from Australia. Thank you, Dee Dee, for Monday. Please. It's funny because I'm sorry. I've been using the word manifest since January. I don't know why. It popped in my head. And I frequently appear weekly or several times a week with Nancy Grace, if you're familiar with her, Crime Stories with Nancy Grace, because my issue is always the warriors. My issue is always empowering victims, support survivors. And it is week 6 here in New York City of what I like to refer to. I like to refer to him as Dirty Diddy. Sean Combs, one Diddy. And so we're in week 6, finishing up week 6 this week, going into week 7. So I'm on a lot for that. And there was the segment was, Diddy was manifesting that he was going to control the jury or something. I don't know, something. So I don't know what happened, but when it came my turn, I'm like, I'm always manifesting positivity, especially with victims and survivors. And I want to manifest that that jury will call him guilty kind of thing. But, those are fun segments. I shouldn't say fun. Those are good segments to watch just to get a little clip of what's going on, because with this case, it is so important. He is accused of sex trafficking, also transportation, prostitution, sex workers, as they call them. Remember, at the Warriors, we don't use that. We believe sex is not work, work is not sex. We say prostituted people because we believe, due to a lot of studies, most people in the sex trade are forced, some sort of coercion, pretenses of fraud, and that, Warriors, is the definition of human trafficking. So he's accused of the sex trafficking. He's accused of transporting people for the purpose of sex over state lines. That goes to something called the Mann Act, right? And then also racketeering, RICO, usually used, with mobs, mafia kind of thing, criminal enterprise. It's going to be very tough. We deal with a lot of these cases with the sex trafficking to prove all of this. I am hoping and praying somehow, some way, and I'm not a lawyer, that these jurors who had to endure witnessing these horrible Freak Fest tapes the other day, the tape of Cassie being beaten, they'll keep all that in their minds and convict him on something, because for decades we have heard here in the streets of New York from sources of ours, things about him. Again, I don't have proof, innocent until proven guilty, but I'm just saying a bad, bad person. And those around him are complicit. And I want something, I want him to be held accountable, because with that other recent story of trafficking with that person whose name begins with the letter E, we never had full closure. We never had true accountability. I don't think we ever, I'm almost positive we never will. So for survivors out there and victims, not only of the person with the letter E, that I know some, the current Diddy, but any victims of sexual exploitation, assault, right? They are waiting. They want to see some sort of accountability, because it's always that powerful person over a vulnerable person getting away with it. Money talks, crime walks. I say that all the time. It is the truth. So we're keeping an eye on that. But keep aware of these types of things, because it all feeds into your knowledge. Again, if you have kids or grandkids, they're seeing and hearing all this crazy stuff about Freak Fest and baby oil and all this. Oh my goodness. They're seeing it, they're hearing it. It's not funny. So you have to be able to, maybe explain things. Maybe they have questions, maybe bring it up. What have you heard about Diddy or something like, age appropriate if they're older teens or something. Let them get the information, the education from you, not all these strangers. Dee Dee says it's overwhelming for me, and I don't have children. Yes, it's overwhelming for me, and I'm a warrior, because it's like getting hit with a hammer every day. Every day, I'm receiving press releases and stories of horrific things done against children. I didn't even know could be done, but these monsters do this stuff. And as it becomes, and I believe it has become, I don't want to hear it has certainly helped create a lot of this. It has always been here, right? Things against children, things against people of this horrific nature. But I do believe the public is becoming more habituated. It's become normalized. It's another story, or I'm going to try this now, or I'm going to do this for clicks and likes, or it has to stop. It has to stop, because what I'm seeing happening, I'm going to say in the last 6 months, is an escalation of all of this criminal activity like no other. I'm saying the last 6 months. Let's see. Claudia's here. Yeah, sexual content is it is. And it's not that we're prudes, right, everybody? It's that, seriously, I started in the music business. You can't come through that. You're not a prude. I'm a New Yorker, right? It's children, minors. It's our teens, our future adults, our future leaders seeing all this. This concerns me. Where will we be 5 and 10 years from now with these kids, right? Who's helping the kids? What about all these kids that are sex trafficked? I keep asking. We'll have operations. They will be announced in media, a lot of media online, not mainstream media. And then I always ask, because they'll say this criminal was apprehended or he's going, DOJ will say he's going away for life or something to that effect. And I'm always like, well, okay, where are the 19 kids? We never have follow up. We never know. Because this is a lifetime of trauma. The survivors we work with tell us this. It's not just you're saved, you're healed, you move on. You have a good day, you have a bad day. It stays with you forever, further corrupting, right? Society, right? Let me just make sure I don't miss any comments. Jan Edwards is here. We love our Jan Edwards. Jan Edwards, let me give her a shout out. She's a dear friend. She's a fellow warrior. She's a wonderful organization, Paving the Way in Florida. I urge all of you, I'll put the link in the body of this video as well when we're done, that you find out about the tremendous work Jan does. And let me tell you about Jan. Jan is, might be the only one I know. Yeah, I know a lot of people. She's a true warrior. She will get on the ground. She goes in, she's with the kids. She's with the kids. And this is what we need to do. Be with those kids. What are they feeling? What are they seeing? What are they doing? What do they need from us as the adults, right? They need us. The kids we talk to eventually, when we gain their trust, my parents don't pay attention. My parents are on the internet. We've got to come together. I'm going to keep saying it like a broken record. You can listen to me or you cannot listen to me. This is the key thing. Coming together, talking to our children. Jan does that. I have learned so much from Jan. She's absolutely terrific and a warrior. She is a leader. She marches those halls of Congress. Nothing stops her. She marches in there. She talks to them. And she's got that relatable personality, much needed. She can get in there and really explain the issues on a very just friendly way. And that's what we want it to be. We want everything to be relatable so you understand, so members of Congress understand, so our president and first lady understand. But I can't say enough about Jan because she works with the kids. And the kids are the ones that need us. So shout out to Jan Edwards, Paving the Way Foundation. Excellent warrior, top of the list. Again, I'll have all of her information in the body of this video. Come on, you all. Turtle Bean, I've been watching it all. Then you've been watching a lot, Turtle Bean, because there's a lot going on. Then we have Linda's here. Welcome, Linda. I haven't seen you in a while. Hell Warriors. I think you mean hello, because we are peaceful warriors. I think that's what you mean. Dee Dee says, thank you, Lynn. Words are powerful. Diddy trial calling prostitutes entertainers and orgies, movie night, dumbing down the language. Well, you know and I know, and we all know that's what they're doing. The justice system alone, we got to flip it. The justice system has to work for these people forced into the sex trade. Right now, it works for this perpetrator, criminal, trafficker, pimp, whatever you want to call that person. Remember, it's not always a male. We have a lot of cases of females involved. They are the big sister that can reel in the girls especially. The big sister the girls never had are young women. They are the mother figure that the girls never had. And they are working hand in hand complicit. And that is why with this Diddy trial, his right hand was a woman named Christina Coram. Now, she worked for him for a decade. She claims, she put out a paragraph last month. I had nothing to do with anything. I did not know anything. Come on now, woman. She knew everything. That's just the way it goes. We've heard things from the street about her for years, lying through her teeth. But guess what? She's turning evidence, right? She's not going to be prosecuted. I was thinking, why isn't she on the stand? We've only heard from a handful of alleged victims. Yes, alleged, I'm supposed to say. Remember, innocent until proven guilty, or as my husband would always say, and he is a lawyer, innocent until proven indigent, something like that. And you know what? I figured out with Nancy Grace yesterday when she was talking, all of a sudden a light bulb moment went off. Christina Coram cannot take the stand because we already have text messages where she is admitting everything. From drug buying to setting up these hotel rooms to Cassie to women with the beating. It's all there. So if she takes the stand, she's going to have to corroborate that because they will ask her about that. So they can't put her on the stand. So we'll see about that. But all I know is 2 days ago, from our reporter on the ground, we've had two great ones. We've had Lauren Conlon, who's based here in New York, terrific, Pop Crime TV, and also we've had Tisa Tales reporting live from the courtroom. And Tisa was saying how Diddy 2 days ago literally skipped into court, smiling. One day he's holding a Bible, smiling at people. I mean, this is the Diddy playbook. They just think they're invincible. But until that justice system starts looking at survivors, victims of any of this exploitation as trauma, because the argument here is they were of age, they were over 18, they did this willingly. And all I talk about is sexual servitude, which is part of human trafficking, right? The trauma to the brain, the trauma bonding. So until our justice system can get that and take that into the total of all of this, we don't have a chance. But we're going to have a chance because it's 2025 and a lot of things are changing. And with women like, Jan Edwards on the scene and, Lynn's Warriors, we've said enough and we're not allowing any of this to go on. So I want to finish up also with July 24th. There's a lot of free stuff. The Warriors, we like to give out free. So certainly, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area on Monday, all are welcome. Contact me, Lynn at lynswarriors.org. If you'd like to join us, 3 o'clock Capitol Hill. That will be Social Media Victims Remembrance Day. Absolutely important to give solace, empowerment to these parents and family members and acknowledge them because our Congress, frankly, has done a poor job of doing it. So we've got to do it and pick up the slack. Also, July 24th, there is a free, with World Without Exploitation, they have a youth council, and they are putting on a one-day seminar free for 16 to 24-year-olds at George Washington University. I'll link that as well. It's a fantastic day. If you have any young people in the Washington, D.C. area or they want to travel, contact me, Lynn at lynswarriors.org. We want to educate our youth. We want to get them on board to share this information with their peers, right? We want it to snowball, and it starts with them. So contact me again, Lynn at lynswarriors.org. They could spend the day. There's going to be breakfast served. They'll hear from their peers. There's going to be lunch served. They'll have some swag, I believe, they'll take home with them. It is so urgent we get our young people involved. That's World Without Exploitation Youth Council, and also fantastic colleagues of ours, Rights for Girls. Just love them as well. They are warriors. So we've got that going on. And then August 6th, I know a lot's happening. Here in New York, we're having a wonderful cocktail fundraiser out in the Hamptons. We're going to have a chic, kind of breezy night on the beach, and it's going to be wonderful. We're going to, during the next 2 weeks, be announcing. We'll have some people you'll know about will be attending, but also we are doing this along with our wonderful allies, the Wonder Girls, based here in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. It is a middle school and high school girls empowerment group. Because that reminds me, we talk a lot about the feminist movement, because I was on the tail end as a kid growing up in Jersey of watching the news and seeing the women march on Fifth Avenue. I saw every color. I remember reading about it. We got every magazine in my house. We got the Newsweek and the Time and the all that stuff. And I loved that stuff as a kid. I read it page to page, cover to back cover. And you don't have that anymore. Despite all the talk, in my opinion, despite all that we're going to do it and we're sisters and it's empowerment, there's very little true collaboration, something we at the Warriors always pride ourselves on and work on and want to continue building this coalition building. So August 6th, we're bringing in the Wonder Girls, and they are the proven, these girls in middle and high school, how they work with each other. And it's all kinds of things. They do a terrific job every January, Human Trafficking Month. They've been in existence the same time as the Warriors since 2020, with putting out a PSA for human trafficking to distribute to their peers. And also they do a lot of community work, packing up bags and bags of Goya food for us, and we distribute to those who need it most. They do resume building, role playing, helping each other, tutoring. They have a summer camp they've started for 5 weeks this summer. So many great things. This is something that works. They're called the Wonder Girls. So we have that. Now we need the Wonder Boys. So we're getting all these things going for you, for us to empower our kids, our future adults, to help us as the adults feel good about our kids. Because, like I said, there's so much going on. Don't close your eyes. Don't shut the door. Come along. And if all you can do is share this video, That's good enough. But we love you all. We thank you all. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything. Dee Dee, thank you, Lynn. Words are powerful. Did he try? Yeah, I went over that one already. But that's part of the whole thing. That vernacular, that media, always saying sex worker, ignore it all. Prostituted people, we know 91 to 97%. I could rattle off studies all day, but I don't want to bore you. 91 to 97% of people in the sex trade are forced into it. That is human trafficking. So leave that alone for a minute. Don't listen to them. It's not my body, my choice empowerment. Listen, if they have their way, they're going to have children in the windows in Times Square. If they could, these 10 loudmouths against millions of us who have common sense and decency and want to protect our kids. Okay, let's just make sure. Yes, Dee Dee says, God bless Jan. Absolutely. Jan is the best. I want everybody that's Paving the Way Foundation. Again, I'll put that in the body of this video. Let's make sure Goya Food's the best. Goya, big supporters of the Warriors. They have tremendous food, and their Maria cookies are, I'm sorry, they're addictive. I'll use that word. I could just sit and eat those things day and night with a cup of coffee. That is the best. They make desserts. They have everything now. But besides them being so generous to the Warriors, they are truly a company, a family-owned company, committed to human trafficking, child safety, child exploitation, teaching. They go into our most vulnerable communities in this tri-state area, and they really work hard. For instance, Center for Safety and Change, help with our Wonder Girls, help the Warriors. This is truly our hashtag, Community Creates Change. Let me see, somebody gave 5 gifts here. Dee Dee, thank you, gifted 5 Lynn's Warriors memberships. Thank you, Dee Dee. That's what makes the world go round at the Warriors. And you know what? Look at that video I put out just a few minutes before we started this. And let's just see, did I miss anybody? Linda says, me too, Lynn. When Oprah's book club learned everything in kindergarten, I was devouring Women's Day magazine. I know. Did anybody else read? I used to read, we got so many magazines. Whoops, our little fan went off here. Magazines in the house, from the Women's Day, the McCall's to Ladies' Home Journal. I loved all that stuff. That's where I learned so much stuff. I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to thank all of you. I think Dee Dee, did you do another 5? Let me get control of myself here, everybody. Okay, now I got the 5. Thank you for the memberships. I want to thank all of you for joining me, taking the time. We are busy. It is a holiday today. Happy Juneteenth. That's what it is. Everybody just take time to take a breath, support each other, love each other, and honor our hashtag Community Creates Change. So look for us when we pop up next here on the live, but also I'm going to link. So go back later to look for Jan and to look for all these free things I'm mentioning. But remember one thing, we're all in this together. We are all warriors. Community does indeed create change. Thanks for being with me. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks, everybody.